Hello and welcome to the Jeff and Jamie feed. We are your hosts, Jamie Brown and Jeff Tony Dandel, coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina, where we talk about all things food and beverage. Today, we are bringing on a special guest who has been a huge part of the Charlotte food scene for a long time.
This is so exciting because she gets to interact with all of the best chefs and mixologists in the whole state every single year. It's really cool.
I know, and it's also pretty crazy. We haven't threaded paths with her, but a lot of our chefs have, because she is one of the masterminds behind the North Carolina Chef Showdown. And they are coming up on their 10-year anniversary this year. And what I love about having this conversation right now is that we have our summer soiree coming up too. And a lot of the seeds of what we do for that event thread into what she does, you know, trying to bring chefs and farmers together and local ingredients and just, the summer soiree, we've got 4 chefs basically cooking up a whole bunch of different local produce coming together for 6 courses.
And of course, she's historic here she has been in the food scene here for a long time and doing farm to table before farm to table was a thing.
Yes, but it's not just that. Not only has she been a part of Charlotte's food story in terms of telling it, she's been a part of it, and she has continually evolved. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it is not. We have to do that all the time.
We have to do that all the time. It's tough to continue to evolve and to stay relevant and stay connected, and she has done that all these years. So
well, should we bring our guest on?
Let's bring our guest on, Heidi Bellotto. Well, good morning, Heidi Bellotto. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning. I am thrilled to be here.
It's so fun. It's so fun. Here we are in Growler's Poorhouse. We're hanging out on a Monday morning, and Heidi Bellotto is with us. If you all don't know her, we're going to dive into her story. You have been a huge part of Charlotte's food scene for quite a while.
A long time. Since the late 1990s.
Since the late 90s.
Actually, since the early 1990s.
That's amazing.
Maybe a bit before that.
That's right. When I got to Davidson. Not you, Jamie, because you're much younger than me.
So much younger, yes.
But as we come off your birthday yesterday. But yes, that's when I first got here. The first time I went to Charlotte was the day after Hurricane Hugo. In 1989, I visited my brother at Davidson. And Charlotte has changed.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
So what got you into the food scene? I know you were a former musician. What in the world?
I was never a musician. My husband Tom Bellotto, is a musician in Charlotte now.
Yes.
Very talented. He will crack up that you think I was a musician. I'm a big appreciator of all the music.
I love it.
And I know
Good
all
enough.
the words to all the songs. That's my big claim to fame.
I love that.
But I graduated with a degree in early childhood education from Queens.
Okay.
I love teaching. I love connecting with people of any age, so younger people as well as older people. I taught for a couple years. It sounds very funny to say this. There were no little children then, so there were no teaching jobs.
Okay.
The school system just didn't have kindergartners and first graders.
It wasn't until everybody moved here.
There just wasn't the population.
Okay.
So anyway, I one summer worked in a kitchen store and cooking shop. I later opened my own kitchen shop and a cooking school. That was the first of its kind in Charlotte.
That was Charlotte Russe, is that right? Okay,
yes. Oh my gosh.
Well, I was
Were
researching
you reading? I was going to say, the Charlotte Russe was a...
You go on ChatGPT, you can find a lot about this lady, Heidi Bellotto.
You were sweet. Anyway, I love that. I love the cooking. I love the teaching. And as time progressed, I loved going to the farmers markets. And meeting farmers and connecting with farmers. I started and still do. We only eat locally. You would be hard pressed to find me buying groceries in a grocery store. I just don't. I shop at farmers markets.
That's amazing.
And farm stores and people that carry local products.
I love that.
I eat in a lot of restaurants, so I have to, it's what I do. I write about restaurants too, but
a lot of restaurants have been able to move towards using a lot of local food.
I love that.
It's not easy to do all the time, obviously, because there is a growing season, so you can't have everything all the time. But it's so refreshing to see how Charlotte has continued to evolve. And
what's your favorite farmers market?
Well, I go to 3 every Saturday.
Okay.
So and I go to the ones that are closest to me. I mean, I go sometimes when I write, but I go to the Matthews Market.
Matthews.
I go to the Uptown Market,
Okay.
and I go to the Regional Market. Sometimes I go to South End. Uptown
the
and
regional
Matthews.
one's the one
On Yorkmont Road.
on Yorkmont.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, no,
So
there.
on Saturday mornings, the regional market has a little bit of everything for everybody. But on Saturday mornings, Building A, that first building, is all local farmers.
Yep.
And I could tell you everybody by name, probably, and just explain to you, map it out for you. I've been shopping with those people for years. I've been shopping at the Matthews Market for years. I've been shopping at the Uptown Market since they opened. And I'll go around. Like, I'll go to the South End Market. I'll go to the Waxhaw Market. I'll go to Huntersville.
Okay, so you have a chance here. What are some of your very favorite vendors? Maybe like I know this is going to be
like asking you who your favorite child
okay,
is.
not
Our
favorite.
favorite restaurant.
Let's
That's
see
always
this.
the
What's
one
your
that we
favorite
get. That's the
restaurant?
one we
Okay,
get.
how about this? In this moment, list off 3 to 5 vendors that you go to every week.
Still hard because there's a lot. Like, I come up, but
what are
I will
your
say
favorite?
this.
What are your favorite produce things right now? So,
Well,
if-
what's in season?
Yeah,
so
what
right
are your
now
favorite things?
it's middle August, and so tomatoes are still great. Peaches are starting to go away, so I would say if you're going to get them, buy them and freeze them.
Two weeks ago, the peaches were.
They were.
awesome.
It was a great year for
Yeah.
peaches. Cucumbers are still great. We're Ben at Garden Window Farms. He's from Denton, North Carolina. He sells at the Uptown Market. He's going to have edamame in a couple weeks. That's really cool. He's got long beans coming in next week. So beans and chilies and peppers are coming in now. Bluebird Farms at the Regional Market has stunning tomatoes this year. They always do. And I buy eggs at the farmers market from a lot of different vendors. I move around. Shelley Egan, who is at Profit Family Farms, they're in Kings Mountain. She sells at the Matthews Market every other week or so. Is a good friend. When I'm buying meat, I buy from her a lot.
Okay.
Or beef. Newtown Farms at the Matthews Market, Sammy and Melinda Cohensburg. There's a lot. See, now I'm going to get in trouble for not listing
No,
people.
but this is fantastic. It's great for listeners to
Yeah.
hear. And what I love is that I feel like you've turned what was maybe a personal passion, and I know it's the way that you eat and like your home culture yourself with your partner, but you've turned it also into this passion that you've allowed to share with others and connecting people. You know, you've that's been so much of what your I'll say your job and passion has been over the years.
I think it's my secret sauce.
I love that.
I think it's my secret sauce. I tell chefs that I run a big event, which I know we're going to talk about, called the NCRLA Chef Showdown. And one of the things I tell those chefs and other people, if there's something local in the state of North Carolina and I don't know about it, and my friend Chad Blackwelder, who's with the Department of Agriculture,
Yes.
doesn't
Chad's
know about
great.
it, I love Chad. It probably doesn't really exist in this state. Between the two of us,
Yes.
we know a lot of people and connect a lot of people, from the teeny tiny little dairy farmer and dairy farming families to big. There are big national companies in North Carolina, like Tidewater Grain Company is the largest grower of Carolina Gold rice in the world,
Okay. Wow.
and they're in Oriental, North Carolina.
Okay.
And
Amazing.
Marshallberg Farms and you guys use Marshallberg
do,
Farms
yes.
caviar.
I think
at
I
the-
think we're one of the biggest purchasers of
Their
both of those
caviar.
I love
items.
that.
Both of those
I
items.
love that, and
People
I love,
love their
having
caviar.
It.
Yeah.
And they're a huge producer. They're down east, teeny at the almost. It's not quite the end of North Carolina, but it's close. And then Miso Master,
Yeah.
Miso is in Rutherfordton, North
Yes.
Carolina. They're the largest producer of organic miso in the world.
We use them for our mac and cheese at Supperland
See?
because
I
we have a
know.
miso mac and cheese there, and they're phenomenal. Jeff has been up
I
there.
went on a tour with Chris before we opened
To go
Supperland,
see
'cause-
Miles,
and,
yeah.
and it was so cool.
I'm going after I get through all the Chef Showdown stuff. I'm
Okay.
going to go up and see them. I love their products.
Yeah, and it's quite a process to make
It's
miso.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's really really neat.
And
to
all of that is
go through all
happening
those
in North
steps.
Carolina.
Right.
Yes.
At the same time, we have 200 wineries and distilleries. And
that's one
you
of
know.
our favorite things is when people see that we have a place like Supperland that has such a sense of place that is like rooted here in the South, and we have the Southern Steakhouse and church potluck and all this stuff going on, and then they see miso mac and cheese, and they look at us and we're like, you don't understand. This is a local ingredient. This is something that is, not very far away, that we visited, that, is a part of our culture.
I love that through what you do, you guys can show people how easy that really is. Maybe you can't do it for every single ingredient that comes into your kitchen, but where you can do it and when you can do it seasonally, you all at all of your places really do highlight local products, and I love that.
We love to do that, but let's jump into this North Carolina Chef Showdown.
Yeah, I want to talk about the showdown.
I'm very excited.
So it's coming up. Tickets are for sale.
This
Tickets
is the
are for
10-year
sale.
anniversary,
yes,
too.
10 years. 10 years ago, I started it with Lynn Minges, who was the CEO. She asked me if I could come up with an event for one night. She needed an event.
How about 10 years?
And so then 10 years later, and it's grown and grown and grown every year. So, yes, tickets are on sale.
Where do you get those tickets?
At ncchefshowdown.com.
Awesome.
ncchefshowdown.com. Okay, and it comes up on September 2nd, right?
September 2nd, the grand finale. We run 12 events with the grand finale throughout the year. The grand finale is the only event the public is invited to, and it is on September 2nd in Durham, North Carolina, at Bay 7, which is in the American Tobacco campus.
Oh, fun.
It's an old historic area, and it's beautiful, right across from where the Durham Bulls play. And from 6 to 8:30, and that is where we will crown. Everything culminates. So we have we have 20 finalists. 15 of them are savory chefs, 5 are pastry chefs, 6 of them are teams of mixologists. So we're as we speak today, I'm leaving here and going to the second round of the mixology finals.
And I hear one of our bartenders from
a
Supperland
contender,
is going to be
Yes.
contending this year.
Yes.
I love that, Zach.
Let's go, Zach.
I'm so
rooting for
excited.
Zach.
And he's competing with Outer Banks Distillery.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so it's really cool.
So how does that work? Are the previous rounds just one-on-one, or is it a
Yes, when people
it's
apply.
a duel?
Well, everybody applies, and then they get accepted. So there's a lengthy application to fill out, and a lot of it's about, do you work with local ingredients? Are you interested in that? All that. But you don't have to be you just have to be a working chef or mixologist in North Carolina.
Okay.
Once you apply, you come to the preliminary rounds of competition for either the mixology or the culinary side of things. And we do that across the state. So I assigned people, if you were in Charlotte, you came to the Charlotte round, but sometimes it's not a convenient time or a date. So we let people go wherever they are best.
Okay.
But then they come with a plate. They make a plate for one of 3 judges, and they make a photo plate. So they're making 4 plates, all of which speak to who they are as a chef and what they believe is reflected on the plate. And they use a lot of local ingredients. So they get more points the more local ingredients they can put into it. That
Okay.
makes sense,
Yeah.
And then same for the mixologists. Mixologists make a cocktail in the first round and a spirit-free cocktail.
Oh, nice.
We used to call them mocktails, but
Yes.
we're not doing that
No,
anymore
we're calling
because a
them spirit-free.
mocktail,
Yeah.
what they do is a cocktail without spirits.
Right. That's
And,
exactly right.
It's a higher level.
I went through this process with Colleen a few years ago. So
Yes.
we were.
She was our 2021 mixologist of the year.
Mixologist of the year, and she won that. And I remember going through. She was trying to use local ingredients, but she was trying to use the whole state.
Yes.
And she was also trying to nail all the different seasons throughout the year with her cocktails. So
It was an amazing cocktail.
It was so complex, and I remember going through the different ingredients with her, and she kept talking through it, and she'd be like, "Try this pine foam," and
I
and like,
remember
we're,
the pine
doing,
foam. And
like
then she
doing
had
all
a cold smoke. There was
she-
like a
and then she
like
even,
clouds were over it.
She was trying to get that. She was trying to get her gin to be a little more like coastal and bring in some of those salt notes and sea
She
notes. So
competed with
she did an
Sutler's
awesome job.
gin.
Yep.
and which is out of Winston-Salem. So that's the other thing
she
I
loves,
love. Yeah. The mix in the mixology round, it's a team. So it's a mixologist and a distillery, but they don't have to be from the same city.
Okay.
And they partner up. I don't assign anybody anything. They partner up and then they apply together. So it's so cool that we have a mixologist from Charlotte with a distillery from Winston-Salem, or in Zach's case, a mixologist from Charlotte with a distillery from the Outer Banks. I mean, it's because that liquor in North Carolina is in all the cities, or we like for it to be,
Right.
and at all the bars, and so it's really a cool thing to see what these mixologists do. And then the spirit-free cocktail is because that is the way the industry's going.
Sure is.
Some people
You don't do a THC one though.
That's become very hot too.
No, we don't do that
Yeah.
right now. But those drinks are astonishing as well. And so they make one of each. And when they get to the next round, same thing. They do one plate, a different plate, and now there's 4 judges. And in the regional rounds, all of the judges are past champions,
Oh, okay.
which is the
Awesome.
very cool thing about having been doing this for 10 years.
So, being that this is the 10-year, how were applications this year coming in?
We had more people apply this year than ever.
Really?
Not,
Great.
I don't think related to the 10th year. I just think people know about it now.
Yeah,
And they're
okay.
talking about it. The buzz is out.
So, what were the numbers?
We had 102 applicants. And that's mixologists, distilleries, chefs, and pastry chefs.
And we still have 2 people left. We have Zach for cocktails, and we have Brandon for.
Yeah, Brandon is a finalist. Brandon will be
Oh,
at the 7th.
that's
Brandon
what I'm
Staten.
talking about.
Everybody calls him Brando. I've seen him grow so much from when he first
He's
started,
our
and that's the
sous
beautiful
chef
thing.
over at Supperland. Yeah.
Very talented.
He's awesome.
He's a great guy.
He
and
just makes one of those guys who makes you smile when you walk in the room. He's always got a great attitude.
that is true. That is
Yeah.
true, and he greets everybody and laughs and smiles. So he'll be at the finals, and as of this moment, I don't know about Zach yet. So Zach is a semifinalist as we speak.
Okay, that's
Fingers
exciting.
crossed, Zach.
Well, I'm so glad you've had such a huge turnout.
It's
this
been
year.
amazing. It's been great. And so at each of our rounds of competition, we've had 18 and 19 and 20 chefs a day competing.
Okay.
So our judges are eating bites of 18 and 19 and 20 dishes and critiquing them on the spot. And so, and then after all the preliminary rounds are done, nobody's a winner of any one round, any one place. So as the preliminaries are done, after all 5 are done, then we announce who is going to move on to be a semifinalist.
Okay.
So everybody's kind of on an even playing field.
So what would you say? You know, you run this competition every year. It starts in January, and here we are. It goes into September to find your finalists. What do you feel like is like that big goal that you're trying to achieve by doing these chef showdowns? What is that big vision? Why bother? Why go to the trouble to do this
This
kind of
is
thing?
such a good question. Thank you for asking that. I contract with the NCRLA to put on this event. So the NCRLA is the North Carolina Lodging and Restaurant Association. And the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association.
yeah.
I knew that didn't sound right. And so they are advocates and cheerleaders for the North Carolina hospitality industry. So that's restaurants, bars, lodging, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's behind it all, is the support and putting our North Carolina hospitality industry in the spotlight. Then the Department of Agriculture, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, which has got to be NC,
Yep.
which is what people will see, is our title sponsor. And they have been a supporter since day one. Since Lynn Minges and I, who's the former CEO, sat down and talked about doing this one-night event in Raleigh, the Department of Agriculture was there. And we made it be about local ingredients. And therefore, all of those farmers, big farms and teeny tiny little farms, and chefs who are growing, green beans in their backyard or foraging something, all of that comes into play. So that's the why. It's connecting chefs with farmers and producers. It's putting chefs in the spotlight, and it's allowing the public, not just in the state of North Carolina, across the Southeast, across the country, to see all we have here in North Carolina, both on the agricultural side and on the hospitality side.
That's fantastic. And I think one of the best things about it, too, is that idea of connecting that you're talking about. You never know when a chef or a restaurant owner has some ideas that have been percolating that they're trying to figure out what to do with. And then suddenly they see that, oh, there's a farmer or a maker or is somewhere in North Carolina that's doing what I'm looking for. And you may not have known it. And all of a sudden those pieces connect and they can bring something new to life. You know, a cheesemaker in Asheville, for instance, that we may never have heard of doing something really interesting. And suddenly that we can bring that onto a menu. And
It's huge. And
It's a
it
big
changes
deal.
people's lives.
Yeah,
You know,
uh-huh.
farmers are farming families. And sometimes they're farming families that go back for generations. And when chefs start supporting those farmers and making the public aware, then the public buys from them. That changes people's lives.
for sure.
And that's what I love about it all. It's the connection there, is bringing people together. It's the people. It's the people.
I've seen it, you know, when helping Colleen through that process, like it really pushed her to think about cocktails differently and exploring different things. And I think she went through salt tinctures where she was getting salt from different places.
Because she was replicating the ocean, right? I love that.
So she, you know, but even today though, because I think she went through that and, you know, probably went through 20 different salts or at the time or whatever, you know, whatever she could get her hands on. You see then now in some of her cocktails where she's using a different salt tincture in a different cocktail because she learned some of those nuances from, you know, from that event. And she's also brought, we've had a few cocktails where she's brought the pine back in down in the speakeasy. So I think I think you make chefs think and push themselves and be creative and come up with new things. And then those kind of, you know, come out
Exactly
in
right.
ways for customers, maybe not that day, but years later, and it's pretty
and people
cool.
remember. I think the other thing is then you see, okay, well, why isn't there pine? Well, pine's probably a bad example because we have pine pretty much all year
Yeah.
long. But why isn't there why aren't there tomatoes, fresh sliced? Why did you stop serving the tomato salad? Well, we stopped serving the tomato salad because tomatoes aren't local anymore. And we
Right.
still have tomatoes, but the local ones that we featured on that beautiful salad plate only grow this time of year.
Right.
So I think when chefs and mixologists experiment and grow, that's how everybody learns something new. You don't want to keep making the same thing you've been making for 10 or 15 years. And then when you do that, people realize that they see a farmer's name on a menu and then they want to go buy from that farmer. And
Right.
that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. We're seeing, you know, that seasonality, we've always made it a part of what we do, but really in the last couple years, we've really tried to push that even further with our chefs. I think a good example is over at Supperland, we have a risotto dish that has long been a mushroom risotto, and it is wonderful. But the past couple years, we've been trying to come up with a more seasonal take on it. So this year, we have a tomato basil one that's running all through the summer. And it's beautiful, but it will come a time that will not just switch, it will have to switch because
Right.
those tomatoes will no longer
And
be
if
available.
you make it with tomatoes and basil that came a long way from somewhere else, it's just not going to taste the same.
Right, it doesn't.
And you don't want
right.
that.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly right.
I think the other thing I love, and that it kind of speaks to what you were saying about Colleen, the challenge here particularly for our mixologists is not to say, all right, give me your best gin and tonic, make an espresso martini. It's about what cool and incredible thing can you do to take it over the top and still be true to who you are and still show us you in a glass and
Right.
what you like to do. And that's where we get these unbelievable cocktails and dishes that that then turn up on menus and then people see them, and it's just it's a neat thing for people to see that it's not the same old.
Yes.
You know, it's not a pork shank.
Yeah.
It's pork done 7 ways on a
Right.
plate.
So so interesting. Yes. Now you have been truly a champion for local food. I mean, truly before farm to table was even really a thing. And you know, you're looking at Charlotte then versus now. What's your perspective on it? Because Jeff and I have been here for a little while as well, but you've been talking about it long before we started too.
I've been
What
talking
have you
about it a long time. when I first kind of became aware of it in this city, the Charlotte Regional Market was really the only market.
Right.
You know, the Matthews Market came on after that, and slowly things have been growing. So I am really proud of that. It really is. It's better for you to eat local. It's, despite all the economic things of supporting your community, it's just healthier and better for you. And it's better for the food not to be shipped a long ways and to go that it was just picked off a tree yesterday or just dug out of the carrots were just
It's more
pulled from the
nutritious
dirt.
and-
It's more
yes.
nutritious. So I have been doing it a long time, and it just is so good. Why would you stop doing that? And so what it led me to was I did it initially for a little bit. I was writing about it. Paul Bocuse was in town years ago, and I met him, and I was just making conversation with this man who didn't or wouldn't speak English, one of those two things. He knew what I was saying, but he was really tickled that I brought my cookbooks for him to sign.
Okay.
And I said, well, you should go to the farmer's market while you're here. And he said, well, you should take us. And
love
so
it.
the next Saturday morning, I took Paul Bocuse and his whole entourage and
Wow.
some chefs who were here from a restaurant that was called Bistro 100. People that have been in Charlotte a million years will remember that. And we all went to the regional farmer's market. And chefs were there shopping, which I always love, early in the morning. And people would come up to me and say, do you know who you're with? And I wanted, yes,
You're
it
like,
is
that's
Paul
why
Bocuse.
that's why I brought him.
And yes, I do know who it was, and I have unbelievable pictures from that. So that it all started way back in the 90s, and then just has grown and grown and grown. And now I do it. I did it initially for health reasons. I started just deciding I really wanted to eat healthier, know what was in my food. And that's how I started meeting farmers. And, you know, that's what I tell people to do all the time. Go to the market, introduce yourself, get to know the farmer. You'll get to know their families. You'll talk. They'll call you when they have something if you ask them to, or you can call them. Do you have this and that? Will you hold that for me?
Yes.
And as you develop a relationship, those things happen.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. You know, I also, Chef Showdown aside for just a second, I also host the cooking stage at the North Carolina State Fair.
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
Fantastic.
So that is, I work for the Department of Agriculture, and I do that for the 10-day stretch of the fair.
Okay.
We have cooking demos 2 or 3 times a day where we have a chef and a farmer on stage with us. And they talk about that relationship. And then the people, we don't serve all the people in the crowd, because then you would get a little teeny tablespoon, and that never looks the way a chef wants that to
Right.
look. So what we do instead is we have a chef's table on stage where we have 8 seats, 6 or 8 seats, and we call people up, and they get to have a full meal, and we pair it with the North Carolina wine.
beautiful.
And it's so much fun. And so that is the same thing. We're just reinforcing it's about the relationship, and through the relationship, you know your farmers, you know your food, and you're supporting the local economy.
When is that event?
That event is in October.
In October. How do I get
Right
a seat at
after.
the table? I'm
Well,
just
you know what? Now I have people come up to the stage between demos and sort of make a reservation.
I love
Could
that.
you just call
Smart
me?
them.
Could you pick
It
me?
seems
I
like
love
you're
that.
creating these unbelievable food experiences, and you're not really like interjecting yourself to judge. Like if I were doing this, I would make sure I had my seat at the table, eating that every time, and I would be
I
a
get to
I
eat
would
it.
be.
Don't get me wrong.
I get to eat it.
I'm
I
just making
don't
sure because
judge.
I would make myself the judge of all. Yes, okay.
Because I'll tell you why. Because 102 chefs.
Yeah, it's
I
a
go
lot.
through their applications. I talk to them. I make the phone calls. They call me if they have questions. I connect them with farmers. Now they're my family. And it's like the same thing. Like, how do you pick your child's thing? I have to.
It's pretty easy
stay
here. We
impartial.
look at the P&L for the restaurants on Thursday,
And that's who you
then
pick.
Then
Good.
we
That's
have then we
excellent.
have a
Like,
favorite.
What can
on
they
Thursday.
afford to do?
right.
Then we have
This
a
is
favorite
good
on Thursday.
system. So
Well, I have a take on the farm to table movement. So I feel like when, kind of through our journey that, farm to table 10 years ago was like the hot thing. And it was like, you're making all your food homemade. You're trying to do farm to table. And it was a big thing. But then it kind of died out, not that you were still doing farm to table, just that you weren't talking about it as much because you kind of figured, well, of course we're doing farm to table. We're like trying to make amazing food and doing all this stuff. But I feel like the switch has been originally restaurants and chefs were talking about farm to table because they wanted to promote themselves. And then we had that little lull, but now I feel like we're doing the promotion not necessarily for ourselves, but more for the farms. So it's kind of switched a little bit. So what do you think about that take? That
I
now
do.
really it's about those farms that we're getting the stuff from, not so that we can say, hey, we're using this local thing.
I agree. I think that chefs find it now so important that those farms stay, that farmland doesn't disappear, that it doesn't become a high rise, that those things keep growing, that we don't contaminate the dirt, that we do everything. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you could go into, but the point is that we do everything to support those farmers. And I think chefs were among the first to realize that, and their input and the fact that they're kept that going, and that they feature chefs on their menu, they do dinners, they put pictures up, they put names up. And even if they don't do all of that, you see them at farmers markets buying from people, which is really cool. If anybody, a great tip to rub elbows with Charlotte chefs is to go to a farmers market early in the morning. They're all there picking up stuff and buying. So the chefs have realized that and have turned the spotlight on the farmers, which in turn makes people want to eat at that restaurant or with that chef. So it's a two-way street, because it's the chefs that take the food and show people what you can do with it. Some of them may teach cooking classes. They appear on television doing cooking demos, talking about local farmers. And so I think that keeps everybody going. But you're right. Nobody really says farm to table anymore. Like, it would be silly for me to call this competition farm to table.
Right.
Even though it is more than anything. It is a farm to table, but it's just not a phrase that's used anymore. And so it's just about supporting local. I think that's more what people say.
And I love the idea, too, about bringing the chef or the farmer with the chef. I think we should, next time we do a cooking demo, for one of the TV stations or morning shows or something, we should think
that's a
about
good
doing
idea.
that. Of like,
That would be
let's
Jeff,
cool.
you just had a good idea. Thank you. Wow.
You are so
Finally.
welcome.
Yes, this is great.
First one, 2026.
That's
we're proud of you.
It's only August.
We're
okay.
always looking for something of value to come out of Jeff's mouth here, and here we are. Thank you, Jeff, finally.
You're welcome.
So are you still doing cooking classes with this food philosophy that you have, or do you even have time to do things like that?
I don't teach cooking. I do a lot of private cooking classes when I have time. I don't teach classes I used to do a whole array of classes at local farms. And we'd go to the farm and we'd do a farm tour, and then we would cook with whatever food was on the farm. I did that at Newtown Farms. I did it at Profit Family Farms. I did it at a lot of farms. And I don't do that so much anymore, because now in the summer, most of my weekends are spent traveling for Chef Showdown. I really miss that. I really miss it. And I would love to start again. When between September and October, like in September, and then sometimes November and December, I have time to do classes, and sometimes I do, and sometimes in January. My window has shrunk, but I do a lot of private classes and team building stuff.
What would you say a couple recipes that you feel like every Charlottean should have, like or certain ingredients, like you must know how to make a warm potato salad, or you must know how to do this as a not even Charlottean, North Carolina home cook. What's something that you love working with that is like truly North Carolina?
Okay, I think everybody should know how to correctly cook eggs.
Okay, absolutely.
Because
For
we
sure.
think we know, we think we can fry an egg, and then we have the pan too hot, or it's not hot enough, and then things pop, and you can't flip the egg over.
Yeah.
You don't know how to make a jammy egg. I didn't know for a long time. I mean, I know chefs, so I learn. I ask a lot of questions.
But you say the correct way to make an egg, and really there's a lot of opinion there.
What's your favorite?
We
Okay, so that-
consistently fight in our kitchen about
but
eggs.
so maybe not the. So do you fight over like scrambled or fried, or I'm not? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm
Technique
talking
more.
about
No, more technique of like
A proper scramble.
If I were to make
Oh, okay.
Or
if
a
I were
proper
to make an over easy egg in the restaurant, I would not have any kind of sizzle on the outside, and it probably wouldn't have a lot of color. But if I was making it for myself, for the family, I would purposely
likes to have that
Caramelization.
lacy
yeah,
look
yeah.
around
And
the
so we argue about those kind of things.
What's
all
your
the time.
favorite
I
way?
think, well, I love eggs over easy, and I love a runny yellow,
Yeah.
and I love dipping. You know, like when an over easy egg is on a salad and you cut into it, and that yolk
Yes.
becomes the fat in your dressing. I love that.
Yum.
I think that people overcook eggs generally.
Okay,
is really what I was speaking to. I also, I really think that people, seafood is a great thing to learn how to cook correctly. There is a lot of delicious North Carolina seafood readily available on our coast. It comes in seasons, but if you know a good fisherman, and you can find people at the farmers market who sell and directly connect with
Okay.
with fishermen. They don't directly connect with fish. They connect with the fishermen. They can tell you what season it is and tell you if it's fresh and that's why a lot of fish is frozen. So if you follow chefs and see what they're featuring on their menu, that's the time to buy whatever that is.
Okay.
North Carolina shrimp, soft shell crab, any of that stuff. People tell you that you can't get soft shell crab in North Carolina. That's not true.
It's
You
just a
see
small-
more
it's
of it
just
at
a
the
small
coast.
window.
It's
No.
a small window. It's actually they molt for a long period of time. It's just getting it across the state.
Okay.
So it's know your fishermen just like you know your farmers, and then you find out when that is, and then you can learn how to cook those things in season too.
Okay.
We want to grill out in the summertime. Grilling out's a great way to cook all year long.
Yeah.
And so that's and there's lots you can put on a grill. And there's so much you can eat raw. Every Saturday morning, I do a video in my car that I put on my social media of all the things I just bought. And I just am pulling out stuff. And I, for some reason, started eating it as we went. Like,
You're just
and here's an ear of
chomping on
corn.
a-
Well, the funniest is when I tried to bite into a kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is delicious, and you could eat it raw. It tastes like cabbage, but it's very thick-skinned. So it was a hard bite. But I eat corn,
So people
raw
can
corn.
find those videos of you eating your fresh produce on Heidi Bellato, your Instagram?
My Instagram, which
Okay.
is Heidi Bellato on Instagram.
Okay.
On my YouTube channel, which is also Heidi Bellato. Heidi Bellato Cooks on Facebook.
Okay.
And I just do it every Saturday. I don't do them live
that's fun.
because anything could happen. But I post them right afterwards. And talk about what's in season, and then I talk about how to cook each thing as we're going. So, but I think more people should eat things raw. People forget that you don't have to
can.
cook turnips. You can eat them raw.
Yeah.
You don't,
You're a little crazy eating a raw turnip there, Heidi, but
I love turnips.
You do?
Yeah, like high curry turnips. They're sweet and they're delicious,
Okay.
and they're in season right now.
I've
Those
never
are the
thought to
white.
eat a raw.
They look like a white beet, kind of. They're little,
Okay, yep.
and they're called high curry turnips.
High curry
And
turnips.
you don't have to peel them. You just have to rinse them off, and you just slice them and eat them. And they're delicious.
Okay. So one of the things I feel like you have done a tremendous job over the years is just staying relevant and constantly evolving and continuing to move the conversation forward and everything.
Like doing Instagram in your car. On
I know.
the weekends.
I love that.
It's
Eating,
so great.
jumping into kohlrabi there. But what's next for you? Do you love right where you are? Do you see new things happening? How do you continue to evolve? What's the next thing?
I feel like I always want to. I would never say I'm right where I am and I'm good to stay here. I want to keep growing. I want to keep getting better at what I do. I want to meet more people. I want to expand. Maybe broaden my horizons a little bit outside the state. When I travel, I do what's called food-centric travel.
Yes.
So when I go to Chicago or Canada and where I go is farmers markets, and I talk to chefs and I look for local products there. So I like that idea of doing that more than just inside North Carolina, although there's so much to explore here.
Yes.
Julia Child is a great heroine to me. And I was very fortunate to interview her twice.
Oh, wow.
And both times over the phone, both times before there was any social media. So I was sitting on my sofa thinking to myself, I am speaking to Julia Child.
I want a
and
picture.
nobody knows it. And I
That's
don't have
awesome.
anything. There's no way to take a selfie. People didn't even know what that was.
Right.
And so I write about it every year in August. That's her birthday. And so she started what she was doing when she was in her 50s. And look what she did. She
love
changed the
that.
world.
She changed the world.
And so I love what I do. I love what I do every day. I love that I don't do the same thing every day. I love that I write sometimes, and I teach sometimes, and I shop sometimes for local food, and sometimes I dig around in my herb garden, which is, I'm convinced why there are farmers markets, because my gardening is not my successful.
You don't have to
stuff.
tell us.
But
Yes.
but I love what I do, and I want to keep growing. I want 10 more years of Chef Showdown. I mean, I'm not 10-year
Love that.
anniversary is great, but I'm not stopping.
I love
And
that.
so it just gets. I just want it to be bigger and better every year. We grow a little bit. We add in a little something new, another round of competition, another something, and that's what keeps it interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps life interesting and fun, and it's what keeps us all young and moving around. I don't ever want to be that person sitting on the sofa and not having anything to do.
Well, you have inspired so many people and made such a big difference
Thank
in
you.
Charlotte and the North Carolina food scene as well. And thank you for taking the time to chat with us this morning and for sharing your story with us. And thank you for all you do on that bigger picture too, because it has made a difference. And
I have loved it. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's been great to meet you guys. And if I could just personally say to you, thank you so much for what you did at Lalula Hall and
you.
Bonterra. That is the building I met my husband in at a
That's
wedding.
awesome.
That was at Bonterra.
You guys met at a wedding.
We met 20 years ago.
Oh,
And I had never been married. He had, and just still waiting for the right one. And there along he came at your in the
my.
building that is now your restaurant.
yes. Well, Bonterra
And-
was special to us too, but that's amazing. I did not meet Jeff there. We did spend
No,
a couple
but we-
Valentine's days there.
Yeah, we had
great.
had a few dates there, and
Yay.
we had our first wedding this weekend.
That's right. At
at
Layluya Hall.
Hall.
And I bet it was
so-
beautiful because what
Yes.
you've done is amazing.
Well, thank
I would
you.
just say to anybody that has, and I'm not just saying this, I tell people this all the time. If the last time you were in that building, it was Bonterra, you now need to go back to Lalula Hall and see the amazing transformation.
Thankfully, that building itself is so beautiful. So it
It
was
has
a lot
great
for
bones,
us to
doesn't it?
work with.
Yeah.
Yes,
J-
and
JD
we
left
really
us a
tried.
lot, so we
Yes.
appreciate everything
Yes,
Go
he
sit
did
up at the
great.
bar and have a cocktail or two.
That's right. That's right.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
again
Thank
for
you, thank
joining
you.
us.
I
We're
love
so
it.
glad to
Thank
have you
you.
on.
It was a blast. Great to meet you guys.
Well, that was a real treat having Heidi on here.
That was amazing.
Well, and I also didn't make it through any of my questions because we just chitter chattered away about all the things, and that was great.
I loved that she's constantly wanting to get better at her craft, and I think that's something that's ingrained in our company culture of we just want to get better every single day.
Yep, and constantly be evolving, and don't be afraid of change, and just have your eyes open to see what comes next for you, or what you're into, or how can you help promote North Carolina food, Charlotte food, ingredients, farmers, and the impact that kind of thing can have over the course of many years.
Yeah, so cool.
So if you all are available September 2nd, that's when the North Carolina Chef Showdown is going down. You can buy those tickets at ncrlachefshowdown.com. So get those and be sure to attend the event. It's going to be great.
Go watch Zach and Brandon just crush everybody
I know,
else.
and hopefully we'll have Brandon there as one of the winners at least, and Zach will find out about him making it into the finals as well.
Yeah,
So
they're both going to dominate. It's going to be great.
it's going to be great.
Full faith in the team.
Well, thank you so much for listening today. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. We would love to hear from you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.